ladies and gentlemen, my name's Ross, I like games, and today, it's Gundam time. The Gundam card game is out where the starter decks are out, and that is good enough for me just for today. The 4 starter decks are out. We're 2 weeks away from New Type Rising, the first booster pack, but you know what? We got starter decks, and we're going to have a look. I'm also in my new studio. Yay! I will work on making this background a bit better. One of the annoying things, though, about Gundam right now, there's no playmats. I don't have a Gundam. I will have a Gundam playmat. This is not here yet. I've got a Gundam shirt in the mail so I can wear a Gundam shirt when I do openings in the future, but it's not here yet. We're also in the middle of a heat wave in the UK. It is hot in my studio, and I have to turn the fan off to do the recording. So, maybe we get rolling and we start off. We'll go in order. We'll have a look at these starter decks. Bearing in mind, of course, that these starter decks do have bonus packs in, which is cool. We like bonus packs. There we go. I was like, I've got to have some scissors around here somewhere. That's the problem with moving into a new studio, is that you know where everything is. Even though the old studio was cramped and messy and a bit rubbish, I knew where everything was. New studio, not the same. Right, here we go. So this is Starter Deck 01, Heroic Beginnings. And right now, there's a bonus pack. This is what we've got. We've got 4 starter decks. This is what I'm going to be playing with this weekend. We've got a handy learn to play sheet. We got ourselves a little playmat with all of the areas marked out and a little kind of reminder of the cards. And then we get ourselves the deck, starting off with just the main Gundam card here, which is foiled and textured. It is a legendary, legend rare, I think is the official term. So we have one of those. We have 2 of those. And then we have ourselves a legend rare of Gundam Aerial Perm Met Score 6. 2 of those. So we have 4 legend rares, 2 each of 2 types. And then we just get a whole bunch of others. So Gundam MA form, we got 4 of those. We've got Gun Cannon. We got 4 of those. Oh, yeah. Gun Tank. We got 3 of those. We've then got GM. And look, you'll notice there's a bunch of kind of vanilla-y cards here. It's a starter deck, that's the point. Gundam Aerial Bit on Form, rude of me. We've got Demi Trainer. We got ourselves 3 copies of that. Zoort, again 3 copies of that. Amura Ray as we get into our pilots, full 4 copies. Soletta Mercury, full 4 copies. Thoroughly Damaged, 3 copies. Kai's Resolve. Unforeseen Incident. And then we got ourselves some bases, because obviously you need bases. And then you got yourself your resources, and then EX bases, and then just some tokens at the end as well. It is designed to be a deck that you play. The whole point of these starter decks is not that you're supposed to be getting these and going and winning a bunch of tournaments with them immediately day one. That is not what they are for. It is to learn to play, to get to grips with a game. I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks playing these 4 starter decks with anyone I can convince to have a go. Oh, I might just have to... I don't want to wreck these. Here we go. I'm trying to get it back on nicely so I can package it. There we go. What I'm probably going to end up doing is playing these for a couple of weeks. And then in a couple of weeks' time, when the set comes out, then I'm obviously going to buy a couple of boxes and go nuts trying to make decks. For now, that's not the goal. We do have a bonus pack. It's got an alternate art of one of the cards in the deck. What do we get? Ooh, Kai's Resolve. And you can see there that we've got foil and texture and all of that. You get one of the cards in the deck as a lovely foil alternate art kind of thing. There is such a thing in Gundam as God decks, which is to say you basically get a full foil deck. I don't think I'm going to get one, but like every single person opening Gundam this weekend, I very much hope that I do. Right, there's Starter Deck 01. Let's move on to Starter Deck 02, Wings of Advance. Now, a lot of these, they're going to be very kind of similar. They are starter decks. And like I say, my advice to you guys, and this is where you can see this is what I've done. I'm just picking up all 4. I'm going to spend the next couple of weeks playing all 4 of these around. and then I can figure out later what deck I want to build. As a side note here, we do have the same playmat and all as last time. We've got a bonus pack we'll get to at the end. So, this one is far more on. Oh, I'm not going to slide this one on nicely like I did the last one. That is tight. Right, so we got ourselves a couple copies of Wing Gundam. That is a legend rare. Get 2 copies of each. Now, I'm pretty sure... Oh, and then we get 2 copies of Tall Geese. Again, legend rare. You'll notice you do not get a playset of them, and they are starter deck cards. So, deal is very simple. It's going to be like in One Piece. You need 2 copies of each starter deck. That looks to be the case here. I don't believe they're in the set proper. So, Wing Gundam Bird model, we got ourselves 4 copies. Gundam Heavy Arms, we got ourselves 4 copies. We got Gundam Sandrock. We have 3 copies. Maganak. We got ourselves Leo. Full playset of that. We got Ares. And the thing to... And Tregos. And these are all labelled as starter deck cards. That's very important. Hero Yoi. Now, the good news is you get 4 copies of that. And you get 4 copies of Zex Marquise. And they got Simultaneous Fire. Peaceful Timbre. Siege Ploy. And then you get yourself some bases. So we've got St. Gabriel Institute and Corsica Base. And then you got your resources, your EX base, your EX resource, and then some tokens. The thing to remember here is that these cards are all exclusive. And it's really, 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 really hard to know at the outset what's going to be good. Even if you sit and look at the entire set of New Type Rising, the first booster expansion, you can't just look at that and instantly know what decks are going to be good. You might, if you're very good at the game, if you're very perceptive, you might be able to look at it and figure out what decks are good on release. Problem is, things are going to change. And that's going to be the big issue here. The fact that as time goes by, different decks will be good, which means different cards will be good. We don't know what the good decks are going to be in a year, 2 years, 3 years, etc. My point I'm making here is these early starter decks, they tend to sell out, right? We've seen this for years. We saw it in One Piece. We've seen it in all the games. And we've seen it, I mean, Queen in One Piece comes to mind, where the starter deck sells out, and then all of a sudden people are like, wait, that Queen's a really good card. Ah, now it's really expensive because it's only in the sold out starter deck. My advice to you guys, and this is really for people that want to get into playing Gundam properly, pick up 2 of each starter deck. Right, what's the alternate art? Hero Yoi. Nice. Now, for anyone this links with, you know, you get +1 AP, +1 HP, and then you get the +2/+1 normally. Again, this seems like a good card. This seems like a card which is going to see some play. Assuming we have some good Gundam to pair it with. And again, when we're looking at the pilots are only going to be as good as a Gundam with which they can be linked. Starter deck number 3, Zeon's Rush. Now I only bought 1 of each today because I wanted to do an opening. And right now, what I want to do is just play. And I don't want to be mucking around with the decks or changing anything. I just want to play. However, I am going to go and get a second copy of each of these decks. I'm fairly... well, look, there's 4 of each card per deck. And you get 2 of the Legend Rares. And they are, they are starter deck cards. STO3. So, really does seem like they're going to be exclusive. So, we got 2 copies of Sinanju. And a couple copies of Charles Zaku Mark II. They're your Legend Rares. And then we go with the rest. So, Angelo's Gira Zulu. We got ourselves 4 copies of it. Gira Zulu. 4 copies of it. Gaza D Sleeves. You get 3. Draxi Sleeves. You get 3. It's annoying that some of them you get 3, not 4. But... you only get 2 of the Legend Rares, so you kind of need to figure that out. We got Full Frontal. 4. I do like you get 4 of each of the pilots. Char Aznavour. But again, the Legend Rares, in theory, should be good. Indignation. and you're going to need 4 copies of them. Probably Blue Giant. And then we get into our bases, where you get them, and then you got your resources, EX base, EX resource, and your tokens. So one of those, like I keep saying, when it comes to the legend rares, and again, it's not just about what's good now. It could be that you're looking at a legend rare right now and it looks terrible, and you look at it and you're like, well, in what world would I ever need a playset of those? I'm never going to need a playset. I've been around a long time in a lot of card games, and I have seen many, many examples of cards that were bad. And then all of a sudden, one thing happens, one new card gets released, and those bad cards end up being good. And it's hard to predict, but also, what you don't want is a situation where a card gets good right as the starter decks have sold out. And look, if you can pick up all of the extra cards nice and cheap from the starter deck, cool. But surely there's going to be a lot of people that want the extra, want 2 more of each legend from the starter deck. Do you really think there's going to be a lot of starter deck legend rares floating around cheaply? I suspect not. But again, I cannot stress enough, we never know what's going to be good. What's in the bonus pack? Ooh, Indignation. Oh, I love the foiling and texturing. One of the things that Bandai does so wonderfully is playing around with different types of foil and texture and all of that on the cards. Just to be clear, I am not going to be collecting the old art cards. Now, what I will say is, I'm going to be buying 2 of each starter deck, like I keep telling you. I actually kind of like that you get the bonus pack, because if I'm buying 2 of each, so I can get the full playset of Legend Rares, it's kind of nice that I also then get an extra bonus pack. That actually does soften the blow a little bit. It makes it a little bit nicer. Okay, right. So, we got Ailstrike Gundam. That is one of our Legend Rares. Obviously, 2 copies there. And then we've got Aegis Gundam. 2 copies of that one. Have we all been playing around on the tutorial app, by the way? Because it's really quite good. Another thing Bandai do well. So, Strike Gundam, we have 4 copies. Mobius 0, we have full 4 copies. We got Mobius, 3 of them. Strike Dagger, 3 of them. Aegis Gundam MA mode, full playset. We got Gin. We've got Miguel's Gin. We've got Kira Yamato. I do like to give us 4 of all the pilots. We got Afron Zala. We got Strike Pack, or Striker Pack, I should say. Hawk of Endymion. I need to watch some Gundam. The Magic Bullet of Dusk. And then we got ourselves our bases, couple of different ones there. And then your resource, your EX base, EX resource, and your tokens. So, look, each of these gives you a fully fledged deck. Each of them gives you 4 Legend Rares. And the Legend Rares, they do look phenomenal. The foiling and texturing on them is fantastic. They're very, very cool. And in theory, they should end up being, good and playable in the future. Will they be? I mean, look, over the 4 decks, there's 8 Legend Rares. The chances of all 8 of them, there we go. The chance of all 8 of them being really good top-tier playable cards is honestly pretty slim. But you never know. And that's the problem. Right, we have 1 more of the bonus pack cards ready to go. So far, we've been pulling Command and all sorts. Now, yeah, there are 16 types. I haven't actually pulled an Old Dark Gundam yet. I've been pulling Command. What have we actually pulled so far? So we've currently had 2 Command and 1 Pilot. Oh, I do really like that I got the Hero Yoi. That's very cool. So, can we get a Gundam in the last... Well, we need to get a Gundam in the last pack. Not entirely sure. And if anyone from Dragon Shield's watching, I'm not sponsored, but I am using a Dragon Shield playmat, so, just putting that one out there. Do with it as you will. And we have the Magic Bullet of Dusk. Not an Old Dark Gundam, but a nice little Command card. All right, cool. I'm just very, very hyped the Gundam is finally here. When I cover a game like this, I make a video about Gundam like the day it's announced, right? And then I kind of sit here and I cover the news as it's trickling out. And I've made a bunch of Gundam videos, as you've seen. But what I really want is to actually sit, and obviously I've got the tutorial app, yeah. I've gone through and played a bunch on the tutorial app. That's not what I want. What I want is to have 4 Gundam decks and sit here having a good old play. And now I do. So yay! Alright, you know the deal. Tell me if you've picked up these starter decks. Are you hyped about Gundam? Are you going to be playing it? Let me know in the comment section. Get us! Be nice! And then the usual deal, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Ross Plays. Bye.